At this point, you get what you get. Hey friends, it's your good friend Tim Campbell-Smith, and today we're going to talk about how to make friends in college and university, because that is a top question people keep asking. I think this is very telling of what's going on in the world. I don't want to say of our generation. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about how to make friends from a potent extrovert. Yes, I have advice for introverts as well. We're going to talk about how to make friends, especially for those of you going into first year. First rule, and this governs all the rules I'm going to share, is you got to be social. And you got to be aware of what may be antisocial. But we'll really get into that. Before we go too far, make sure you like and subscribe for all things mental health, business, school, life. Okay, so when it comes to making friends, I actually want to start with antisocial behaviors that would detract from you making friends. It has been my experience, ironically, as a educator in higher ed, seeing first years, teaching first years, now being a student and seeing first years, I see a lot of antisocial behaviors, and these are things that are detracting you from even making friends in the first place before you even tried. Practice number one that I want you to stop because it's super antisocial: no headphones. Take out your headphones. Headphones, one, are a social cue, a visual cue to others to not disturb you, that you are involved in something else, but then it also is a physical barrier to having conversations, to building relationships. And actually, I have a weird tip with headphones. Don't wear headphones for the first 2 weeks of school. Seriously, the first 2 weeks of school, don't wear headphones, ever. No music. Always be open to the universe and to making friends, especially because in the first 2 weeks of school, first year or any year, this is when people are most hopeful and they're most looking to make friends. You're most likely to make friends during this time. So, first 2 weeks of school, no headphones. A second thing that folks do that is kind of antisocial behavior, and it's weird, but hear me out, is always taking the same physical path everywhere you go. So always taking the same route from, say you live in residence, from the residence to your classroom to the food court and back. Or if you commute, taking the same path from the subway to your classroom to the same study spot back. Be careful taking the same physical route every single time. Next, not getting involved is an antisocial behavior. You've got to get involved. And we're going to talk about different ways to get involved, whether that's like events or clubs or groups or jobs on campus, whatever. If you don't get involved, that's antisocial. Don't do it. Get involved. Another antisocial behavior, and this one feels so good to people, but it is actually antisocial, focusing on negativity. Negativity and complaining likes company, but it doesn't stick together. You're never going to really form a relationship just on complaining about things. Now, ironically, I'm a teacher, and I love talking to my other teacher friends, and we love complaining about students and about teaching. But what's actually brought us together is physical proximity. That's something that causes friendships. Likeness, so we all do the same thing, and something that's relatable, but not just the complaining. Only relying on negativity is actually an antisocial behavior. So don't just complain about things, give praise, be excited about things. Another antisocial behavior is being judgmental. Now, I know a lot of us like to think like, oh, I'm not judgmental. I'm not a very judgmental person. Remember, the definition of being judgmental is thinking that you are somehow, some way better than other people. That involves making a judgment. That involves being judgmental. Avoid thinking that you are better than anyone else. Because remember, we're all just insignificant specks of dust on a rock hurling through space. Nobody is better than anybody.
Except Serena Williams. Serena Williams may be better than all of us, but I'm open to discussion on that.
Next, focusing only on yourself. Ask questions of other people. Be curious of other people. Get to know them. People love talking about themselves. Also, most people know that if you ask them questions about themselves and you get to know them, they will reciprocate and they will ask about you. So don't worry, it will be your turn eventually. And if they don't ask you anything about yourself, maybe you don't want to be friends with them. And finally, the last antisocial behavior I want you to watch out for is an over-dependence on technology. So walking around campus with your phone in front of you, insisting that you have like your computer in front of you. Seriously, put your phone away. Be careful how much you're touching your phone, how often you're using your phone. That can be antisocial. Those are antisocial behaviors to look out for right out of the gate. But let's talk about some pro-social behaviors and things you can actually do to make more friends in college and university. First, I actually want to start with this. I want to encourage you to be proactive and you go do things to make friends, because not many people are actually going to go out of their way to be friends with you. And especially in college and university, especially especially in the first 2 to 4 weeks of school, anybody who goes out of their way to be social with you is usually doing so because they have a goal. They want you to join their club. They want you to vote for them. They want you to go to their event. They want you to buy a ticket to a thing. So don't expect people to come to you. Very few ever will. The first thing that you can do, and I'm going to do a whole video on this, make the most out of orientation week. Orientation week is mainly geared for first years, but if you have an orientation week that's available or designed for second years and up, go to that. There are so many people who cite and talk about like the way they made their friends, all stemming from orientation week. There is just opportunity to see them. You're to see people and to make friends. You're in such close physical proximity with so many of them. You're often having many and wild experiences that causes bonding. I can't say this enough. Make the most out of orientation week. Next, join clubs. I've never seen a college or a university that didn't have a million different clubs. And a core part of student unions' jobs is to make it easy to create clubs. And they will help you create the club and amplify the club and get people to join your club. So join a club, and if a club doesn't exist around an interest you have, create a club. With your clubs, either to find them, to join them, to create them, use social media. Particularly at the time of recording, Instagram and Reddit are going to be big ones. Another way that you can make friends is through sports, particularly intramural, that aren't terribly competitive, that don't require you to try out, and it's just for fun. And again, if it doesn't exist, start one. I am not an athletic person by any stretch of the imagination, which I know probably shocks most of you, but I love dodgeball. God, I love dodgeball. And I love floor hockey. It's truly the best of my childhood, and it's just, those sports are so ridiculous and dumb. One school that I toured and thought of going to had intramural dodgeball and floor hockey, and I was like, that's pretty awesome. That's gotta be a fun way to make friends. Another and a very easy way and place to make friends is in class. There's a few different things you can do in class. This is the big way that I like to make friends. One, sit in a different place every time. Just like an antisocial behavior is to always take the exact same path, a kind of antisocial behavior is to always sit in the same place. And especially if it's not somewhere you love being or there aren't other people. So just sit somewhere different every time. It's okay even if it's in the same part of the room, but a different like physical seat or table. Sit somewhere different every time. Next, talk to the person beside you. You heard me. I am literally encouraging you to look to the right, look to the left, and literally talk to the person beside you. You can also make friends by being helpful. So like, I take really good notes. I take excellent study notes. And a way that I make friends is I offer my study notes to people. If I'm like, hey, if you're struggling with this, or like, if you miss class, like, I've got really good study notes. Great way to make friends. Next, I do this when I'm in a class, but you can do this anywhere, and it's a way of making friends. It kind of connects to class or anything you can do. Pull stunts. Anything that is fun or interesting. So I once posted on social media, and I'm getting it, but I don't want to reveal it too early. I once saw the cutest, and I mean, it was so cute, it was so funny, suitcase on a tiny human, and it was like dinosaurs, and it was this like fun blue, and I was like, I need a fun suitcase like that, but in adult size, so that I can use it. Now, my friend couldn't find a suitcase, but because she knew I was going back to school, she found a dinosaur backpack in the exact same style as this tiny human had at an airport, and she got it for me. Now, it was funny because she also said, I know you like the store, so the receipt's in the bag. You can actually take it back, use the money to get yourself something that you want for school. And I was like, no. I'm going to take the dinosaur backpack. I'm probably not going to take this on the first day of school. I don't want this to be my first impression, but I would love for this to be my second impression. So I'm going to pull a stunt, and I'm going to bring my dinosaur backpack. And if you can't tell, this is like a very full-size backpack. Like, I will be able to fit my laptop and a textbook and, like, my smoothie in here and everything else I need. So I'm going to pull a stunt. You can pull stunts. Anything that gets people's attention, hopefully for a positive reason, that's a way you can make friends. Next, another way that you can make friends is to just get involved. So jobs, especially if it's like on campus and you're meeting other students, volunteering, clubs like we've already talked about, events, social causes, if there's any protests, Colleges and universities are notorious for having lots of like protests on campus. You can get involved that way and make friends that way. One of the last ways that you can make friends is through social media, and in particular, Reddit and Instagram are big ones. I would say this is based on like hashtags, so look up like hashtags associated with your school, location markers, and just any posts and keywords. If you see people posting about the school, like go follow them, connect with them, DM them, whatever. Then my final one, and this might be a little contentious, and I want you to hear me out entirely on it. I do want to encourage you to go to parties. No, you don't have to drink. No, you don't have to do drugs, but just going. A key way that people make friends and how friendships are formed is through physical proximity. You typically have to be physically around a person to be friends with them. A party provides that. Now, if you want to go to a party but you don't want to drink, here's what I've done. It has worked 100% of the time, every time. What I do is I bring my own thing, either in a bottle, whatever. I pour it into my own cup, and I always walk around with my own cup. So then nobody offers me a drink, nobody asks, I've already got my drink, and I'm good to go. And nobody knows that I literally just brought my own. If you're me and you're an old hag, I like orange juice. I love a good glass of orange juice or apple juice. And nobody needs to know that like there's no alcohol in there. The other thing with parties, I find, is if you can do something to get people's attention. I call them party tricks. I think a good rule in life is that everybody should have a party trick. So, like, mine is impressions. I'm really good at impressions. I can do impressions. I've got, like, 10 in my back pocket that appeal to most people of most different generations. So, like, you know, my Gen Z might relate to one impression, my millennials will relate to another impression, Gen X, boomers, whatever. It might be, so it could be impressions, it could be a magic trick, it could be really fun facts, whatever. Have a party trick so that people remember you for something. And those are my top tips on how to make friends in college and university. I want you to watch out for antisocial behaviors. Anything where you actually distance yourself physically, emotionally, socially, whatever, from other people, and you actually do things that build relationships. Oftentimes, relationships require physical proximity, communication, positive affect towards each other, and knowledge of each other. So get to know other people. Be around other people. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna be weird. I'm a potent extrovert, and I still don't like the act of having to make friends. And just knowing that I'm gonna go through this for the next 5 years, every single year of my undergrad and my master's, but it's something we all do. It's how humans survive, and somehow we find a way. Comment and let me know, what are your top ways of making new friends? As always, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, business, mental health, photography, and life. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye for now.